Hello, Husky Nation. This is Superintendent Gross again with High School Assistant Principal and AA Task Force Leader Chad Sussex. Here to talk to you a little bit again around what the district's been involved in with their AI initiative. I recently spent 2 days in Chicago at the Google Fellowship, wrapping up my 1 year fellowship with them. And a big topic we talked about was how AI continues to grow and develop and expand, and how it's being used in more and more industries and businesses across the country and world, which really prompted us to always uh, continue to look at what we're doing here in Winterset to best serve our students. So, a lot of the work that Chad's been working on recently is as more tools come out, we always are looking at do those tools fit in what we need to support our students and teachers, and ultimately, are those tools safe to use with kids? We know that there's a lot of issues with data privacy and how they're training their models. So, Chad will talk a little bit about some of the work he's done to update the vetting rubric that we use to vet those tools.
So recently I've been able to, read a number of articles, podcast episodes, listen to those, and then EdSafe information they put out around some of the evolving nature of the technology and how they're trying to use the data more. So felt there was a need to update our rubric simply because our rubric before really only looked at were they following the laws, the FERPA COPPA, and is it in the Student Data Privacy Consortium? And so we've added a number of things to make sure that they're doing their best to ensure our data is protected and our student privacy is protected as well. So we've improved our rubric to make sure that when we're evaluating tools, and of course we'll go back through and reevaluate the tools to make sure they're as safe as we want those putting in front of students.
Yeah. Chad had a couple of things in there I think are really important. I think is the work that he's involved in with EdSafe, which is a national organization looking at AA policy and how you vet these tools, and also the Iowa School Consortium that we're a part of. The consortium looks at those, sets up agreements, and companies sign in. And once they are, then those companies are available for all districts in the consortium to use. But they do a really good job of making sure that those tools are safe too. So, if you read my Beacon article this past month, I talked a little bit about some of the growing trend across the country with the concerns of students and screen time. We understand that concern. We also understand that for our students to be successful when they graduate, that they're going to need to know how to navigate the digital world and tools. So I think our approach with trying to make sure that those tools are vetted appropriately, that they keep kids safe, and that they truly is just a tool that our teachers use. We understand that there's nothing that can replace the human connection that a student has with their teacher. That's why we continue to make capturing kids' hearts the number one focus in our district and the profile of graduate skills. We understand that this is a yes and thing, not an either or. We need to make sure that we're focused on the human connection and putting AI tools in front of our students to help them be successful. Which brings me to the last point I want to talk a little bit about is we've focused a lot in our district on how we support our staff to leverage AI to help them be more efficient, give them some time back, and educate students on when it's appropriate to use. One thing Chad and our AI task force team has been working on is looking at a AI literacy framework from kindergarten through 12th grade on skills that our students would need. So talk a little bit about that process that you and your team went through and what you ultimately selected.
So a few members of the task force, we looked through, I think it was five different latest literacy frameworks that were available to us and narrowed it down to what we thought were the best two, and then asked members of the task force to evaluate those using a rubric. And from that, we've selected the AI EDU AI literacy framework that really helps give us a better idea of how we want to structure AI literacy in the district for staff members, for students, and then use that as a foundation as we select the scope and sequence and lessons that eventually we want to incorporate in the classroom, which we really want centered around the skills, not the tool.
Yep, 100%. I really appreciate Chad's team and the work they put on this. We know that we need to educate kids not just about the tool, but how they work, how to use them, and how to use them safely and appropriately. So I appreciate the work. Our conversation now is in how do we systemically work with our teachers to put this in front of students in a safe way, but ultimately focusing on the learning that we want to take place and not the tool. So again, I appreciate the work of Chad and the task force and continue to put our district out there on the forefront in this work as a real leader in the state and the nation. So again, thanks for everything you do and go Huskies.